On her wedding night, in the quiet village of Aboase, something strange happened. In that village there was a belief. Once a marriage was blessed by the elders, it could never be broken. Families respected it, villagers feared it, and no one dared question it. Audrey had always lived by those traditions. She was known throughout Aboase for her kindness. Every morning, she woke before sunrise, swept the compound, and walked to the river to fetch water. Along the way, she greeted elders respectfully, carrying their loads when they looked tired. She helped elderly women prepare firewood. She assisted widows in the market. She shared whatever little she had. Many believed she would grow into one of the most respected women in the village. But one evening her mother called her inside. Her voice was calm, but serious. "The elders have chosen a husband for you," she said. Audrey froze. Her heart tightened as she lowered her eyes. "In our village, this is an honor," her mother continued. Audrey had never met the man. Her hands trembled slightly. "But, Mother," she began softly. Her mother shook her head gently. "This decision has already been made." Audrey knew what that meant. In Aboase, refusing an elder's decision meant disrespect. And disrespect brought shame, not just to her, but to her entire family. And shame lasted for generations. So Audrey quietly nodded. Days later, the wedding preparations began. The entire village became alive with excitement. Women pounded fufu in large wooden mortars. Men arranged wooden chairs under the big tree. Children ran around laughing and chasing each other. Drums echoed across the village. Audrey sat quietly inside her mother's room, dressed in beautiful traditional cloth. Women surrounded her, singing softly while applying beads to her wrists. But behind her calm expression, her heart was heavy. She was about to marry a stranger. The ceremony began. The groom arrived with his family. Audrey avoided looking at him directly. Palm wine was poured. Blessings were spoken. The elders raised their hands and sealed the marriage. Audrey was now a wife. The celebrations continued into the night. But before the night ended, something strange happened. As the groom stepped outside the compound, an old woman approached him slowly. Her back was slightly bent with age. Her eyes were sharp. She leaned closer and whispered softly, "If you stay, this marriage will not survive." The groom frowned in confusion. Before he could ask anything, she turned and walked into the darkness. That same night, he disappeared. Morning came. Audrey woke up, expecting to see her husband beside her. But he was gone. She waited. First, she thought he had stepped out. But hours passed. Then evening came. Still, no sign of him. Confusion slowly turned into worry. Days passed. Audrey sat quietly outside the compound every evening, watching the dusty road leading into the village. Each time footsteps approached, her heart jumped. But it was never him. Soon, whispers began spreading across the village. Did he abandon her? Was the marriage cursed? Did something happen on the wedding night? Audrey heard everything. At night, she cried silently. She removed her wedding cloth and folded it carefully. Her dreams slowly faded. But instead of breaking, Audrey changed. She began trading in the village market. She woke early, walked long distances, and worked tirelessly. Slowly, she began earning her own money. Months turned into years. Audrey became stronger, more confident, more respected. The same villagers who whispered now praised her. "She is strong," they said. She did not break. 5 years passed. Then one morning news spread across Aboase. Her husband had returned. Villagers quietly gathered as he walked into the compound. 5 years later, older, quieter, more serious. When Audrey saw him, her heart did not move. No anger, no joy, just silence. They sat facing each other, like strangers. "I'm sorry," he said softly. "I failed you." Audrey looked at him calmly. "In this village, marriage means unity," she said quietly. "But we were never united. I want a divorce." The compound fell silent. In Aboase, divorce was rare. Soon, the elders gathered under the big tree. "This marriage was blessed," one elder said. "It cannot be broken easily." Audrey stood quietly. "I lived alone for 5 years," she replied. "I deserve peace." The elders exchanged glances. The decision would take time. Meanwhile, her husband watched her quietly. He saw how respected she had become, how independent she was, and he realized she no longer needed him. He began helping her quietly, fetching water, repairing her compound, helping at the market. But Audrey remained distant. Then one afternoon, Audrey collapsed in the market. Villagers rushed her home. When he heard, he ran immediately. He stayed beside her, fetched herbs from the traditional healer, cooked for her, sat beside her all night. One evening, Audrey woke up. She saw him asleep beside her. He hadn't left her side. Something in her heart softened. That night, Audrey removed her wedding beads. She held them quietly. 5 years of loneliness, 5 years of waiting. She placed them gently inside a wooden box. "Maybe this marriage never existed," she whispered. Outside, her husband watched quietly. The next evening, he finally spoke. "The old woman who spoke to me, she was my grandmother. She warned me. My father wanted me to marry another woman. If I stayed, conflict would destroy you. So I left to protect you. I followed your progress from afar. And I realized I was losing someone special." Audrey remained silent. Days passed. Then one evening, "Give me another chance," he said softly. Audrey looked around the compound. 5 years of pain, 5 years of growth. Then she spoke quietly. "We start again, slowly." Months passed. Trust returned. Then one evening, drums filled the village again. Villagers gathered. He knelt before her. "Will you marry me again?" Audrey smiled. "Yes." The drums played louder. But this time, it wasn't tradition. It was love. And in the quiet village of Aboase, their story became one the elders would tell for generations.